Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the EXP proudly brings to you the most exciting, the most wonderful, the doggone knockdown, drag-out battle between writers versus artists. And we'll show you what it is right after this. Hey, welcome back, everybody. So that intro is not the writer versus artist intro, but that's okay because we're using the Welcome to Wonderland, which is my former show that we used to do Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. This is a brand new show. We're going to have a brand new intro coming up really soon, but Kyle hasn't had time to put that together because Kyle's just a slacker. I don't know what he does. I mean, he runs a network, he works a job, but come on, man, get me a proper intro together. All right. Hey, for those of you who don't know me, those who didn't join us on our Tuesday night show, my name is Rich Davis. I am the writer and creator of the World of Dracula series, which is Cult of Dracula, Rise of Dracula, Reign of Dracula. See a theme there. Prometheus in Chains, and my newest book, Angel Hunter, which just finished up its Kickstarter and is in print and should be delivered very soon. We're looking to get that out in comic book stores in the first part of next year, 2026. But hey, brand new show, brand new theme. This one's called Writer versus Artist. And what we're going to do on this show is we're going to pit writers against artists, and we're going to find out who is the most important member of the creative team. Now, I'm a little biased, so I clearly think that the writer is the most important piece of the puzzle. But my good friend, my dear friend, my brother Les Garner, who's also our co-host, he's probably going to disagree with me because he's one of those people who scribbles pretty pictures on I don't really know what he does, but he does it anyway. So Les, you there, brother?
I'm here. I'm doing a little doodling right now on the stream.
Oh, so that's what you do. Okay.
Yeah, doing a little doodling. Yep.
Oh yeah. Man. So what are you working on there?
I'm still kind of on a dork high from the new Predator movie.
Oh,
Predator
man,
Badlands. If you folks ain't seen that yet, you got to see it. Predator Badlands is like it's like a 3-act play full of chef's kisses. That thing is so stinking good. Literally the best sci-fi movie I've seen since Rogue One.
Oh, that's
which I love,
praise,
Rogue
man.
One.
That's some high praise, dude.
It is like I feel like we've been in this weird, a combined flood and drought of sci-fi for a few years. We've gotten a ton of content, but not a lot of good content. And
hey, what's up, Eddie? So, hey, Les, I don't know if you can see it, but Eddie just jumped into the chat and he says, I think the buyer/reader is the most important. Without us, there wouldn't be comics. It's kind of hard to argue about that one.
You definitely got the point. I mean, y'all the ones that pay my bills, so yeah. I can't complain.
Man, come on. I'm the one who pays your bills.
Jeez. Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Les and I, how many projects have we worked on together, man?
Oh, crap. If you count covers I've done for projects of yours, I've worked on all of your projects since Rise of Dracula.
Yeah, but you did a cover for Cult too.
No, I did. It was the first cover I did for you guys was on Rise.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
did one for Cult. But
it's funny because I never got a copy of that. Never got a copy
Really?
of it.
Of your cover, or
I have only ever seen a copy of that in person once, and that was a fan bringing it up for me to sign it. And when I signed it, I told him, I was like, "Do you know what you have in your hands here?" And he smiles real big and says, "Yeah, I do." Because the only time that I had seen it before that was on eBay for $250.
Yeah. those Cult of Dracula, Rise of Dracula variant covers, man, they did well. I had a really awesome, hey, what's up, Mr. Nope and Eddie, and who else has popped in there? Unknown, how you guys doing? Yeah, so funny story. I was at MegaCon 2021, I think, when I was promoting Cult of Dracula, and I was there with Shannon Mayer, and had the Shannon Mayer B cover for Cult of Dracula #1, which is fire if you guys haven't seen it. But this kid came up to me, and he asked me to sign it, and then he asked, well, Shannon to sign it first, and he asked me to sign it, and the kid turned around, he popped it up either on eBay or some sales group he was in, and he sold it for $300. He turned around and bought another one and had us both sign it. And I don't know what he did with the second one. I'm hoping he sold it because I'm like, hey, make your money, man. I made mine, so I'm happy to see you make yours. So that was pretty wild. Yeah, guys who are just joining us, I'm your host, Rich Davis. That's Les Garner. We are co-hosting Writer versus Artist. We'll be here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, or as Les and I were talking about today, 5 p.m. real time, 4 p.m. fake time.
Yeah.
Les and I are both living in the Central time zone right now, but we lived most of our lives in the Eastern time zone. So time zones are still tripping us up.
I still think in Appalachia time, man.
Yep. See, me too. Yeah, I'm an East Coast kid. Lived there, long time. Most of my life, honestly, lived in Eastern time way longer than I did in Central, even though I grew up in Central time. But those time zones, dude, they throw you off. So, guys, concept of this show, we're going to be here every Tuesday. Today, we're only going to do an hour because it's kind of the intro show. But after that, we'll be doing 1.5 to 2 hour shows, depending on the creative teams we're able to bring on. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring people on. They're going to talk about their Kickstarters, and we're going to have the writers talk about why the artist is essential to creating the book. And we're going to have the artist talk about why the writer is essential to the creation of the book. And the whole point here is to show you guys a little bit about how the sausage is made and how, and Les will probably cringe when I say this, and I'm kind of doing it on purpose. It takes a village to raise a comic book. So Les and I, our goal, our role on this is we're going to be the agitators. We're going to be poking the bear a little bit. We're going to have some pretty biting questions. And a lot of times, Les and I we'll play devil's advocate, to kind of push things along. We want you to know that even if things do get heated, and God, we hope they get heated because it's great for ratings. Even if they do get heated, we all love each other. It's lighthearted. And the point is to promote the work. I got to say, Les, I love this man. We have worked together on just about every project I've done. And the work is always fantastic and the art's kind of okay.
Yeah.
And so Les is, he's sitting here, he's drawing this badass female predator, which is just sick. Eddie, I always want Bama jokes because good God, do I hate the Crimson Tide. My wife gets the Crimson Tide once a month and it's never a good thing.
The funny thing is, I'm the guy on here most built like a football player and I pay no attention to any sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
No joke, Rich. Just the football player thing. The other day, I was in the gym. Of course, you know about my disability and stuff that I've had for the last couple of years. So every time I hit a new achievement in the gym, it's a big deal to me. The other day, I was on the shrug sled. Okay, shrugs. First set of 10, 385 pounds.
Wow.
Second and third sets, 400 each.
Jesus. Dude, all right. So you guys may not know this, but it's been about, 2 years less since you had
just a little north of 2.5 years.
Yeah. So Les had a stroke and lost the use of the left side of his body. And I swear, dude was in his hospital bed drawing.
Yep. Actually, the book that I was doing page layouts, I was working on my iPad doing page layouts as they put me in the hospital. And at one point, a nurse is putting tubes in me, and I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, can you try not to shake me so much?" And she's like, "Okay, what's up?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to work here." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, somebody's got to pay for this crap."
Yeah. That's why I call Les a Terminator, man. Les is a freaking Terminator. He just doesn't stop. He's not smart enough to know to stop.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's like, nah, no thanks. I got stuff to do. No, what's funny is the book that I was doing the page layouts for, and then I finished the book after I got out of the hospital from the stroke, was Homestead with Dirk Manning, and
beautiful werewolf book, by the way.
And we actually went on to get in the final nominations. We were one of the 5 final books nominated for this year's Ringo Awards for Best Original Graphic Novel with that.
That's well done, too. If you guys haven't checked out Homestead, it's out from SourcePoint, right?
Yeah, it's from SourcePoint.
Okay, so SourcePoint Press.
Everything Dirk does now is from SourcePoint because Dirk is SourcePoint.
Yeah, Dirk is SourcePoint Press.
I mean, he bought it. He owns it.
Yeah, that's right. He does. He bought. Good God.
Yeah, it's literally his.
I mean, ego trip, man. Like, I don't want to fight with publishers anymore. What am I going to do? I'll buy one.
I mean, he's somebody who I definitely want to get on the show here sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I love Dirk. I really do.
Dirk's a great dude.
He was one of the people that welcomed me in at SourcePoint Press when I was doing Cult of Dracula, and my big wide-eyed self had no idea what in the world I was doing in the world of comics. But as I always do, I just faked it till I made it. And
just wing it.
Yeah, it's like, if you don't know what to do, just pretend like you know what to do. If you don't know where you are, just pretend like you're supposed to be there. And you'll be surprised how the world will shape itself around. It's like we're Taviran. I've been reading The Wheel of Time lately, so I am deep into stuff like that. Loving the series. So Eddie wants to know, Les, what are you? So Eddie can't see in black and white. So he was wondering. I guess he's seeing you ink the face. So yeah, he's drawing a female. Thank you, Mr. Nope, for popping in on there. It's going to be sick. Everything Les draws. So he gets to provide the visual on the show, and I just provide the pretty face. So he, I'll make it large. Okay, so you can see it even bigger. Ooh, there we go. But Jay, you shrunk my beautiful mug. What the heck, man? I get no respect.
It's a writer.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, Les and I just give you a little peek. So we've worked together a million times, and I love the man, and I think he loves me. He's one of my best friends in the world. Become a very dear friend over the past few years. And
Rich is one of the guys in this business I like well enough that I give him crap.
Yes, that's exactly what I was getting to. Like, I really don't wish, but I kind of wish that I could throw up some of our behind the scenes Facebook Messenger chats where we're just, going at each other over the book. Mostly it was about Angel Hunter because we fought like hell on that one.
Yep.
But it's the thing. What I do love about Les is he has the ability to separate the work from the personal, and that allows me to have the freedom to say whatever the hell I want to him. And I know he's not going to punch me personally afterward. He might punch me creatively, like draw a big middle finger in the middle of the page, but but hey, Acres of Movies, favorite 90s comedy. What's your favorite 90s comedy? Les?
90s comedy. I don't think I watched many comedies in the 90s.
Now we're not talking about the 1890s when you were born. We're talking about the 1990s.
I don't know. I think my favorite comedies actually are movies that have come out since then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I don't watch many comedies either. So it's like most things that get made don't really jibe with my overall sense of humor to begin with. So
yes. I was down. My favorite 90s comedy, Empire Records, which was shot in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I lived for a very long time.
Oh, Empire Records was great.
Yeah.
Was that the one or no, I'm thinking Airheads.
Airheads was fantastic. The metal. Yeah.
Yeah, the one had Brendan Fraser, and it had a joke that lives on forever in my mind is, in a fight, who would win, God or Lemmy? Trick question. Yeah. Lemmy is God.
Lemmy is God.
I'm like, I resemble this movie too much to laugh at it.
Yep. I can feel it. So Les, what is your favorite part of working with me as a writer? And then flip that with, what is your least favorite part about working with me as a writer?
My favorite part of working with you as a writer is I can give you crap and you don't take it personally and get all butthurt. Straight up. I mean, that notice there's no time for me to answer that. That just pops right out.
Yeah.
That's just here we are. There's that one. Now, but that's actually important that, that I can say and think what I do and bring it to the table, and I don't have to worry about you being a little, well,
you can say it. We're allowed a couple of cuss words per show, right, Jay?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to curtail myself a little bit because I know how foul I can get if I let myself.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just trying to be a little better these days. But but I fail often. But that actually is a really important thing, is being able to just be honest and in that kind of brotherly sort of way and just give each other some crap. That makes a big difference in the overall product. And also, I know that if I give you crap about something, especially if it's something plot wise, I feel like my input is taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because, I'm not just I didn't just create the Hair Club for Men. I'm also a member.
Right. It's not working, buddy.
Well, it's all down here. It's that manly face bush, man. All the ladies love it.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying there, man. It's like it's that creative team, You got to have that.
Well, I really
can't talk to each other, and you can't say what you really think.
I think that
because
I am also a writer.
Process. Yeah, he's one of the few people that I've worked with who can actually do both, and that's kind of why I hate him a little bit, because I can't draw for shit. My most embarrassing moment is when Lucio Perillo was doing a cover of Cult of Dracula, and I was talking to him, and I was trying to explain to him what I wanted to see, and he was like, "Well, and there's a language barrier, just wasn't getting it." He's like, "Well, can you just sketch it out for me?" And I'm like,
No.
I can. But I was like, it's gonna be on my, I was like, I'm not an artist, and he's like, oh, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. And so I did. I sketched out this little god awful stick figure thing, and I sent it to him. It was on Facebook Messenger, and I kept seeing the little dots.
I'm sure he's like, don't ever do that again.
I mean, it's like 5 minutes of these little dots. I'm thinking, oh my god, he's like critiquing the hell out of what I just drew, and then all I got was, oh. And that said,
you get the little
volumes.
You get the little thing back that says, "You really do need me, don't you?"
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I know we're coming up on a commercial break, but so favorite thing about working with me, and why don't you explain to the audience why the thing you hate most about working with me is how wonderfully talented I am.
The thing that I hate most about working with you is you will polish a script, you will polish a plot and a story literally while I'm drawing what I think is the last page. And I'm like, yay, I'm nearly done. Shit, no, I'm not done.
Like, here,
I'm not done yet.
Just add this. Come on, one more page. Give me 2 more. Give me 10 more. Give me 50 more pages.
Like I heard one more page like 20 times on Angel Hunter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously, you're going to one more page me into another graphic novel.
Well, I figured out if I asked you for like 10 pages, you got pissed. But if I asked you for 1, you're like, oh, fine. So what I did, I just asked you for 10 pages 10 separate times, and I got what I wanted.
Well, see, now I'm on to your game. It's terrible.
All right, Jay, we got to take a break, right? So let's go do that commercial, then we'll come back, and Les, I guess he'll ask me a question or throw the same one back at me, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be right back after these commercials.
Symphonic verses, Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming death by sleep.
FOC, a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
That'd be really great. Thanks.
welcome back, guys. Welcome to Writer versus Artist. Brand new show here on the EXP. Going to be coming to you every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. if you're out there on the Cali coast, which I think Cali Comics might be out there joining us early in the afternoon. Wherever you are and however you are listening, thank you for making us part of your day. I'm your host, Rich Davis. This is my co-host on the show here, Les Lyndon Garner. Do you go by Les Lyndon Garner still, or do you just go by Les Garner? I forget.
I sign everything. Actually, I sign everything LL Garner.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
That's how I've signed stuff for 30 years. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so LL Garner. I can dig it.
LL Garner, but most of the time I'm like, Les L Garner, some variation of that.
I dig it. LL Garner makes you feel like if you added like one more, like LLL Garner, you could be like George R.R. Martin, and be super.
Yeah, but I actually get stuff done.
Hi-oh!
Sorry, George.
Yep. All right. So I fired a pretty fun, hard question at you in the last segment. So Les, throw something to me. And guys, the concept of this show is lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek. We're pitting writers versus artists, talking about who's the most essential to creating a book. And then we're also going to give you kind of a behind the scenes on how books are made. Les and I have worked together a lot. I think we make a pretty good creative team. I love working with Les. If I could, I would hire Les to draw all of my books because the work is always top notch. But anyway, Les, fire a question out there and embarrass the hell out of me, I guess. And don't ask how I get so pretty because it's long story. I just wake up this way.
Trying to think, what would I want to ask of a writer or ask of you on something like this? I'm kind of, I think, notoriously sort of, I don't know. I try to be low maintenance, I try to be as low maintenance as I can be. So that means, I try not to bitch and moan a whole lot. I know the thing that I bitch and moan about more than anything else, by far, by leaps and bounds, is always money.
Yeah. Those damn artists are so freaking greedy, man.
Gotta pay them bills. And it's one of those things too where, like, as an artist, because I've done this stuff for a living since I was 19. And you would think at some point people would realize exposure does not pay your rent. And there's like, ooh, God, like, I will veer quietly away from that subject for a minute because I will go in hard on that one.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's what the show's about. So
I really feel like artists get taken advantage of a lot. And it's easy to take advantage of artists, especially when they want to get stuff out and they want to be seen and all that. So, that's a giant pet peeve of mine. That's something that, that I get it too from having come up as a young artist. I absolutely understand the need for artists to be flexible with things so that they can get those projects that are going to get them seen. But at the same time, there is a real predatory sort of feeling out there toward artists that if you're an artist in this stuff for any amount of time, you're going to feel it.
See, I love that you bring that. I love that you bring that up. And I think this is going to be a question or a topic that's going to come up a lot on this show.
Yeah, it should.
Because it's key. It's key to the business. But you know how you said that you felt like there's a real predatory from writers to artists. Writers feel the same way, but in the opposite direction, that artists oftentimes kind of take advantage of writers. And this isn't, I'm going to play devil's advocate a lot on this show. We're going to hit hard topics. And even if, as I say this, I'm like, oh God, should I really say this? But,
oh God,
but it's something that what it's going to highlight is the fact that writers and artists need to talk to each other more. And that's what I hope we're going to be able to get across on this show, is to talk to each other, because each side has the same feelings, but just from opposite directions. And then we need to realize there's no sides. There's just the work, because, as a writer, go ahead.
Here's the dynamic I'm going to point out that makes things a little weird these days is, and I know you're going to get to this. So I'm going to co-opt a point I know you're about to make and kind of lead into it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So often these days, the majority of comics that come out these days, I think, I don't know this for sure, but I'm spitballing here. I want to say that most comics coming out now are kickstarted. They come out through crowdfunding.
Yeah, I think so.
And most of those are probably self-published or at least bootstrapped by the writer.
Definitely.
So these days, writers are taking on, most writers are acting, at least to some degree, as a self-publisher.
Mm-hmm.
With, kind of the ultimate end of that being like Dirk Manning, who we mentioned a minute ago, who ends up actually becoming just like, okay, he's a big dog publisher now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that being the case, like, that's the path for writers. For artists, it's not. For artists, there is still very much a path of work for hire. Go out there, find people who want to hire you, and writers end up being the ones who are hiring us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool, and that's great, and that puts a stress on you guys as writers that you didn't have 30 years ago. You didn't have
Right.
20 years ago, and it also puts us artists in a weird place where the person we're having to work with creatively the most is probably also the person we're trying to get paid from. So a lot of times the artists who may actually have a valid point about something, in the content, a lot of times they won't say anything because they know that writer is the one signing their checks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, yep, nope, ain't rocking the boat. So that dynamic actually can present something that's a negative to the overall process, because it's limiting what one of the key players maybe even a lot of key players would bring to the table, because they don't want to, it's just the thing that happens when one of the creative people behind a project is also the boss. And it's rough. It's why, like, a lot of times I actually prefer projects where I'm working with a writer and we're collaborating and we're doing our thing, and there's a publisher behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So that the writer and I aren't like, neither one of us is looking at each other as the person who's paying them.
Right.
Like, if the number one thing I've despised about any time that it's been the situation, I hate when the person that I'm collaborating with is also paying me.
Yeah.
I hate that. But I mean, it's a fact of life. It's a big part of things these days. So, that dynamic is something I think is worth digging into a little bit.
And you know what? So Les is talking about, sometimes it's, the artist doesn't want to talk to the writer because it's uncomfortable, and the writer doesn't want to talk to the artist because it's uncomfortable. That's what we're kind of highlighting back in the early part of the first segment here. Les and I have this relationship where we don't give a damn. We'll say that stuff to each other. I mean, like, I swear to God, if you saw some of our messenger chats, you would think we freaking hate each other, but we don't. And we feel comfortable being able to talk to each other. And I think that's why our work, it works. I've never, ever been disappointed with anything that Les and I have created together. And I think there's this disconnect, like you said, Les, where people aren't talking to one another. And What we're in, and you hit this exactly, there are no publishers that do the publisher doesn't do anything anymore, except take your money, because they don't promote, they don't advertise. As and this I can speak to as a writer creator, because yes, I've had to foot the bill for everything. It's like I have to pay the artist, I have to pay the colorist, I have to pay the letterer, I have to pay the cover artist. And then when it gets shipped off to print from the publisher, guess what? All of those publishing costs, the print costs, the shipping, the warehousing, that comes out of my profits. And it's split with the publisher. But for some reason, the creative costs don't get deducted from that. And the publisher doesn't have to give up the percentage of profits to cover the creative cost. So, like Cult of Dracula, all 6 issues plus the trade paperback sold well over 200,000 units. Okay. We're talking floppies, we're talking trade paperbacks, everything. If it weren't for the television money that I got paid on that, I would have lost money. Because on royalties, I made about 25 grand in royalties. It cost me $24,000 to hire the team to make the book. So we're in a situation, and Les, definitely want to hear from you on this, but we're in a situation where we have an unsustainable business model, because artists can't work for free. Writers can't afford to hire them, because it becomes like those little old ladies with their vanity businesses, like, oh, I don't really need to sell these $500 knickknacks. I just need something to do because I'm tired of being retired. And writers kind of get put into that situation. And, Les, we talked about it. If the Kickstarter for Angel Hunter hadn't made, I was done. I was done. I wasn't writing any more comics, because I'm a capitalist, I'm a businessman, and if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And I couldn't afford to continue to funnel all this money in for people to make money off of what I created and me not get anything back. My time is just, if I'm going to lose that much money, my time is better spent doing something that actually makes me money. Like going back to script doctoring or working on things like that. So I think, Les, we're in an unsustainable model, and I don't know how to change it. Because
the funny thing is, nowadays that model looks a whole lot like what I remember the music industry looking like when I was. For those who don't know, I had a pretty solid career for about 15 years in the music industry. And the music industry is pure trash.
Yeah.
Pure trash.
I've heard stories.
And there's a reason I'm sharing this. Did you know that most music labels, if you look at their business papers, they are registered. Their business license is as a financial institution. Because most of what they do is issue loans.
Yeah.
So every time you as an artist walk in the door and they're like, hey, we want to hook you up with, like, I turned down a $250,000 record deal once. And the reason I turned it down was because they put the paperwork in front of me thinking I was just going to sign it. I was like, this looks cool. Thanks for your interest. Got a lawyer going to look at it. And they were like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And a lawyer looked at it and they're like, yeah, if you don't move this many units and this, that, and the other happens, you actually, like, all of this they're providing right now, you'll be on, it's a loan. And so here's the way it worked. They would offer you money, and in the contract, it would tell you how you had to spend that money.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the $250,000, and then their producer has to get paid to produce. Their studio has to get paid to record. All of this stuff cycles back through them after they've used their credit to take out a promissory note that you are on the hook for with them, the lien holder.
Yeah.
And it's this dirty process. Well, the thing is, without anyone intending it to happen that way, there's an organic version of that happened in the indie music industry, and now that's exactly where a form of things is starting to pop up in comics.
Yep.
Where the companies are, most of the companies are dirty. That's just how it is. And if you look at the history of comics, most comic book companies have been dirty since the rip. It's always been that way. So now, it's becoming like the indie band where the band members are like, well, I write the music and I sing the music and you play this and you play this. And they're having to figure out whose cut is what. They're having to figure out contributions. They're having to figure out all that, having to figure out the business of it. And the same thing is happening, like comic book creative teams now are kind of in the same boat as bands, where everybody's figuring out everybody's job and what they do, what they bring to it. And just like with bands, there's usually one, maybe two people who are the spearhead. They're the leaders. They're the ones who have the most skin in the game. And it's difficult. And the topic of writer versus artist reminds me, of course, I was back in the day, I was always a vocalist / lead guitar player. Sometimes I'd be in bands where I was a lead guitar player. Sometimes I'd be in bands where I was a vocalist. Most of the time I'd be in bands where I was both. Patent overachiever, always done that. But this reminds me a lot of the old like vocalist songwriter versus the lead guitar player. That's always the friction.
Yeah.
Same story, different stage.
Hey, we got a question from Eddie. So as a comic artist, do you prefer writers telling you what to draw, or do they just give you the story and script and give you the freedom to draw what to see should fit?
I prefer writers who pay me. No. No, I actually, it depends on the writer. Some writers can do what's called a full script, where they are very specific with the staging, the shot. I mean, it's like reading a movie script with directions for the photographers. It's that accurate. Some writers are capable of writing scripts like that I think are really good. Dirk Manning is one of those. Dirk is one of those. But most writers, the vast majority of writers that I've known and worked with, I actually prefer getting what's called a loose script or a Marvel style script, where it's more it like I've gotten scripts as loose as this before, where it's like, hey, issue 1, I need these characters to interact for a few pages so I can write some dialogue in it. Here's some notes about where I want them to be at. This is a general tone. Maybe a fight between this stuff, and they'll be very, very loose. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to swing with it, and I'll run with it. Now, there's kind of a back and forth there that's interesting. Like, as an artist who's also a writer, I know I can handle that. I personally, if I'm writing a script to give to an artist, unless I know that artist actually has some writing ability, I will not hand him one of those. And I would not advise most writers to do that. Only do that with an artist who you know is a storyteller.
Yeah, see, that's a really good point here. And again, about the way Les and I work together. So I am by my nature is to write a script, a fully detailed script, the way I would write a screenplay, because that's my background. That's what I came from. And there are most artists that I've worked with that I would not trust to do a Marvel style script with. But Les, when we did Angel Hunter, we talked about it in advance, and Les convinced me, didn't have to convince me too much, but we wrote it more as a Marvel style script, where I gave him the beats and I gave him this and that and the other, and he created the script. And I think the only way that was able to work was because Les and I had the relationship that we do. And a lot of times Les knew what I was going to ask him to draw before I even wrote it on the paper. And the pages always, and I would look at things and I'd be like, well, that is not how I saw it in my head, but damn, that's how I should have saw it in my head. So yeah, but that, again, that only works if you have a strong creative team with people who are willing to talk to each other, and you're not in a dynamic where one person's the boss and the other one is the help. That just doesn't work, because nobody feels valued. And one of the things that writers, and I'm speaking for myself, but I've had conversations with other writers, we all feel the same way. Most of us do anyway. One of the things we run into is in comic books, we're kind of overlooked because the art kind of overshadowed us, and the money also overshadows us because we don't get paid we got to work hard to get paid. Whereas the artist generally just page money.
Well, if we're lucky.
Right. If you're working with a legitimate creator.
If you're working with somebody who's actually decent to work with, then yeah. And I wish it weren't so common for that to not be the case.
Yep.
But that is, and that is a lot of why, as an artist, I can come off very cutthroat sometimes to people. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, your story sounds great. Yeah, pay me.
Yep.
And people are like, what? Aren't you excited? Yeah, I'm excited when I get paid. I've done this too much to just get caught up in the creative side of it. Sorry, can't do that until I'm actually seeing something on the table.
All
and
right.
And folks who've worked with me and have been solid on that front know that once that threshold's crossed, I'll bend over backwards for you like all day long. It's just, I'm always throwing stuff out there and doing my best, because that's what I want to do.
We got to take a commercial break. I'm going to leave you guys with this, and we'll come back and answer it. We'll get your thoughts, our thoughts. Without a writer, an artist just draws pretty pictures. Without an artist, a writer just writes a book. Back after this.
So, the show is called The Geek Chat. And really, there's just a couple of geeks.
I'm Rich.
I'm Dez.
And we are your hosts for this weekly guide into comic bookery and all the geeky stuff that goes with it.
And that pretty much says it all. They talk about the latest movies and shows.
Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. Overall, D+ movie.
So the end. Did you know who that is?
That's She-Ra, yeah.
Yes.
The new #1 comics of the week.
We rep Samuel Jackson, and we rep Mace Windu.
I passed on this. I was like...
No regrets.
No regrets. I really wanted to like this book. I really, 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 really did. Like, I really did.
And just chat with each other. And with you.
Oh, Daniel says, I dozed off with the first one. I have zero interest in the Joker Harley ship, not Harley herself. Enjoy, not for me. Yeah, this movie's going to be rough for me to sit through, I'll be honest.
The Geek Chat, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just a couple of honest geeks.
Let's be honest. Come on.
And that is why people watch us, because we're honest.
Giving their honest opinions.
And the thing you always have to remember about the internet is everyone has an opinion, and they all suck.
Part of the experience.
Download our app on Google Play and the App Store. It's so simple, even my mommy can use it.
All right, we're back, and I left you guys with a comment, and I saw Les kind of twitch a little bit when I said it. If you're just joining us and didn't catch it before the break, without a writer, an artist just draws pretty pictures. Without an artist, a writer just writes a book. What do you think about that, Les?
It's not wrong, honestly. It's not wrong. My perspective on a lot of that stuff, because I write and draw, is always kind of snarky because I'm a turd about that. But I'm just like, well, it's like without either one of your asses, you got people like me. So here we go. No.
There are very few writer/artists /letterers /producers / blah 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 who can actually do it all. But most of us are not Todd McFarlane. That dude.
The last 3 books I actually did the on Brides. Let's see, Apocalypse Girl, Brides, and I didn't color any of the stuff on Gasp or Oz. I didn't do the colors on those, but I did do lettering. So most of the time I'm doing pencils, inks, lettering, maybe coloring. Like Brides, just like Apocalypse Girl, I did all of it. I was writer, penciler, inker, letterer, colorist, cover paintings, sculpted the collectibles, like all of it. And I know that's weird. That's really weird. But so it's like I kind of have to divorce myself sometimes from what is my normal mode, which is just give me that, I'll do it. And that's kind of why I do the stuff I do. Is I just look at people and I'm like, stop, just hand it to me, I'll take care of it. I'm just because I'm just like it's just faster if I take care of it. But in most cases, most scenarios, that statement is absolutely right. Because I don't know many artists who can write worth a damn.
Yeah.
And I probably know even fewer writers who can draw worth anything.
Yep.
And so it's like, typically, y'all need each other.
Yeah.
You need each other.
And, I think, I think us writers who can't draw for crap, we know we can't draw for crap. But I've noticed there are a lot of artists out there who they think they can write, but they can't structure a 3-point story arc, let alone a 5-point story arc. And they damn sure can't carry a 5-point story arc over 5 issues or 6 issues, where you've got to have a 5-point story arc in each issue that also connects to an overarching 5-point story arc. And then if you're doing a trilogy, those story arcs also have to translate into the overall big project. And it ain't easy. And, there's a certain, when I worked in theater, I had one of my favorite directors tell me that his favorite thing about me working tech is that I understood I didn't know how to work tech. And I was humble enough to say, I don't know what I'm doing here, but if you want me to move something heavy, point at it, point where it goes. So I think there's a certain level of reality that a lot of us need. We need to be able to accept and admit what we can't do, and we need to have the humility to find someone who can do the things that we can't do. Does that make sense? Eddie actually had another question, Les. What about the latest trend of having no writing in the comic and just pictures? Is a writer still involved in those, or does the artist just tell the story with the art?
It depends. It really depends. The first time I ever saw that was done masterfully, and that was G.I. Joe, I think issue number 23, the famous Storm Shadow issue.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. That was I can't remember the writer, but I know the artist was Larry Hama.
Yeah,
and which he might have also been the writer on that.
I think he was. I think he did both.
A lot of times when you see a comic that is doing all the heavy lifting strictly with the visuals and has no writing, the times that you see that and it works is probably going to be an artist who can write. That just to be the way, which that's actually something, because I've taught courses before on comic book art and the comic book art form, and that's something that I will bring up in a class, because if you've ever attended any of my classes, you're going to read comics and sequential art over and over and over from Will Eisner.
You have to. You have to.
Probably Understanding Comics from Scott McCloud. And both of those will lead you into hopefully a skill set where you can do that. I mean, an artist in comics should be a storyteller first and a draftsman second. Okay. It's like you can draw really well. Well, that's great, but that does not make you a storyteller.
Right.
That's not.
And I can speak a little bit on this as well, Eddie. So if you'll notice in my books, a lot of my books open with pages and pages of art, but no dialogue. Cult of Dracula, I think we go 8 pages in, and there's only one line of dialogue spoken. It's the same thing with Rise of Dracula, and is certainly the thing with Prometheus in Chains. But that doesn't mean that there was no writing in there. There was working with the different artists, and some had more success than others. I've had good creative teams and not so good creative. I've never had a bad creative team. I can't say that, but it's again coming to the relationship between the writer and the artist. When you read Cult of Dracula, it's a very detailed screenplay, shot for shot for shot for shot. So there's a great deal of writing that goes in there. So you look at it, and the way I saw it in my mind was a cinematic establishing scene where we're going through and we're seeing the world, but we don't need anything said. Nothing needs to be said.
I was just thinking a good analogy to that is, would you grab a director of photography and say, yeah, I need a movie about this.
Right.
I need this, go make it.
Yeah.
And not give them a script.
No, you would absolutely not. And I've worked with some great DPs. There's some great DPs out there, and they do a wonderful job. And yes, when they have a director or a showrunner or a writer who is telling them and sharing, sharing that vision, when you give the DP a vision, or you give the artist that you trust a vision, the two of you working together creates something beautiful. And it's one thing I've learned in comics is it's never one or the other. It's always both. The successful comics happen when a creative team works together. Everybody from the writer to the artist to the letterer to the colorist, all those people, when they're firing on all cylinders, it works. And it takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of humility to be able to surrender your ideas, and then also to entrust someone else with your ideas.
That's the part that I usually fail at. Like when it comes, I mean, that's why most of the books that are mine that I've done all the work on is because I'm like, no, you can't play with my toys.
You're like, I want you to draw it, and I want you to use your own creativity to do it, but I want you to do it exactly the way I'm telling you to, but I want you to do it completely different in your own voice, but do it exactly the way I tell you to, and don't have any deviations. But hey, make it your own. I want to see you in this art. But hey, don't forget, you're doing it exactly the way I want you to.
Yeah, see, I don't even. Sometimes I feel like there are writers who I've dealt with who will give me a little bit of grief. And it's like they want to be able to do that. And if they had an ounce of art skill, they'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because then they would be able to show you just enough to really get on your nerves. But they can't. And some of them don't know that they can't do that.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like, for God's sakes, know what you can do, know what you can't do. And if the writer approaches the artist about things in a way that respects what they're bringing to the table, it's always going to go better.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's really crap. And frankly, those are situations that I'm 51 years old and have a well-established career. Most of the time, I don't need your project, and I'll walk away, because if you're a turd to me, well, guess what? I have enough turds when I go to the bathroom, so I don't need one more.
Ow. All right. Hey, Les, we're coming up on time. So I'm going to give you the parting shot here. And then we'll let everybody know when we'll be back. So what do you got to say? Express yourself.
Writers, respect your artists. Artists, respect your writers, but don't give an inch.
Okay. So writers, respect your artists, but don't give them a penny until you got your stage. All right, guys, that's our time for today. Next week, we're going to do probably an hour and a half show. We're going to be announcing our special guest creative team. They'll come on. We're going to play devil's advocate. We're going to pit them against each other. They're going to fight to the death. And they're also going to tell us about their Kickstarter project. So, guys, thank you for joining in this week.
Plug my Kickstarters before we get out of here.
Hey, plug Les's Kickstarters before we get out of here. Hey, guess what? They're already in the chat, dude.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. So
well,
Les
I've been drawing, so I don't know. What's that?
I said Les has got some great stuff in you. I got a Kickstarter for Gasp and his absolutely stunningly beautiful HP Lovecraft tarot deck. Oh my God, is this beautiful work? I mean, he sent it to me, jaw dropped. I was like, this is amazing. I wish I could buy this for myself, but it's bad luck to buy your own tarot deck. So somebody out there, buy me a tarot deck from Les, and it's because I want it. I just got to get somebody else to pay for it for me, because I ain't taking up that juju.
Well, the tarot deck's not live yet. So what I gave you the links to are Gasp and Oz, the Nightmare and Emerald.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the tarot deck is still. I decided to incubate that one a little bit longer before we really cut loose with it, but it's coming.
Well, it is in pre-launch, so
yeah, it's in pre-launch. So and the fun thing about that one is that with that, one of the stretch goals for it will be the release of my first novel.
Nice,
because I have a 66,000 word Lovecraftian horror novel that ties into that Lovecraft deck.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific. And I don't know what time it is in London and Tokyo and all those places, but it's time.
It isn't real.
Anyway, yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And Les, thank you, buddy. I can't wait to do this with you when we throw an unsuspecting creative team into the blender. All right, guys. I'm out. See you next week.